Hey guys, so this is our first video blog, and we miss you guys, and we can't wait to just tell you everything that God's been doing here. But this time we actually got to meet Kristina Wagner. She was our missions trip leader last year, and she oversees treasure hunts at Bethel Church in the School of Ministry. I hope this chat we had with her encourage you guys and inspire you guys to just keep going on and loving them people. So hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back with another video soon because it's just fun. Bye. So hello Emmanuel. Today I'm here with the amazing Kristina Wagner.
Hello.
And
hi everyone.
So I'll let her share a bit about herself and about Treasure Hunt and what God is doing here around this area. So, Kristina, can you tell us a bit about you, your journey, what's your role here in Redding Bethel Church?
Sure. Well, my name is Kristina Wagner, like he said, and I actually went through 3 years of school of ministry quite a few years ago. And ever since then, I've been actually co-leading treasure hunts, and we actually not just lead them for Bethel Church, but I travel all over the world and I teach on treasure hunts, and it's just incredible. Just a little bit about my journey as far as treasure hunts go. I was probably the last person that you would expect to ever do treasure hunts. Yeah. Several years ago, when I was in school of ministry, it wasn't until I was in my 3rd year of school of ministry that I actually even did a treasure hunt. And the reason why is because I always had that mindset that I had to know that I know that I know I heard from God before I said anything. So if I was out in a grocery store or something, I would always say to my kids, "Hey, why don't you get a prophetic word for our waitress?" And they always would. And one day I was complaining to God in my quiet time, and I'm like, "God, I don't understand why my kids get all these amazing prophetic words and I don't." Yeah. And he said, "Well, what are they doing?" He says, "If you open your mouth, I'll fill it." And so the next time we went to a restaurant and I asked my daughter, I'm like, "Hey, why don't you get a prophetic word for our waitress?" She said, "Actually, why don't you, Mom?" Talk about out of the mouths of babes. So that started my journey, and there was about 4 or 5 of us, and we just started going out and just loving on people. And I can say one thing, I know that Daniel and Christine probably have told you this many times over, and I just can't express it enough, that if you are going out to see signs, wonders, and miracles, if that's your goal, then you probably are going to be really disappointed. But if your goal is to go out and love on people, then you cannot be disappointed. Of course, signs, wonders, and miracles will follow because it's biblical. It's in the Bible. It says, "And these signs and wonders will follow those that believe." And so if you're a believer, signs, wonders, and miracles should be a part of your life everywhere you go. Whether you're going to a grocery store, whether you're going to a restaurant, whether you're going out to work out, doesn't matter. Wherever you are, you can always go out and love on someone. So I started going out, and at first I was actually very afraid because, like I said, I had to know that I know that I knew that I heard from God. So I would go out, and if I had a word, then I would give the word. But if I didn't, I would stand back. But then I started seeing people getting healed. And so I just started stepping out a little bit more. I had a friend, and he and we would dare each other. So he'd be like, "I dare you to go dance or rap a song," which I can't rap, but he would say, "Why don't you go rap the gospel?" And of course that was something I could not do. And I'm like, and so I would try to rap the gospel. And just out of doing those dares, it actually gave me a boldness to step out even more. And so now I'm not afraid to go up and talk to anyone. I'm not afraid to be rejected. That's the biggest thing. You're not being rejected. It's actually Jesus is the one that they're rejecting. And, you know, love looks like something. Love looks like giving somebody a cup of water. Love looks like loving on someone. Love looks like, you know, helping them out with their groceries. Love also looks like healing. I mean, God, He's such an amazing daddy, and He wants everybody healed. Yeah. So when I see somebody in pain, why would I not want to go out and heal them?
Yeah.
So we just started doing this, and we got so excited about what God was doing that we actually started doing this every single day. And then we're like, oh my gosh, we need to take a day off so that we could have God time. So we took one day off, and then we just go, you know, 4 days on and 1 day off. And then it just exploded to where now we're training people all over the world. We're training in School of Ministry. Over 300 students are coming out to be a part of treasure hunts. And it's just incredible what God's doing. And it's so amazing because it's not about any person. It's about Jesus. And when you make him your focus, you cannot fail. Yeah. Love never fails. And if you don't mind, I'd like to share the penny story. Several years ago, the Lord spoke to me about pennies. And you probably have them in Ireland as well. But on one side, it says, "In God we trust." And then on the other side, it says 1 cent. And so I don't know about how it is in Ireland, but in America, you find pennies everywhere. People just drop them. Yeah. But see, God's saying in the Bible, it talks about this in Luke 15. It talks about how you stop for where the 99. You know, he left the 99 to go after the one. And that's what we're doing when we're doing treasure hunts. We're actually going after the one. The one, we're sent ones, but we're also called to go after the one. And I don't know about all of you, but I know that somebody was praying for me. I had a praying grandma and a praying mom that brought me into the kingdom. And so I'm so thankful for the sent ones. And I'm also thankful that I was one that is now being sent out to go love the lost. And, you know, it's all about souls. It's all about souls. It's not about performance. You know, just if your heart is to go out and love on people, that's what treasure hunts is. It's not a formula. It never has been. You know, one of my spiritual fathers is actually Kevin Dedman, and he's actually the one that wrote The Treasure Hunt, and so, The Ultimate Treasure Hunt. If you haven't read that book, I'd highly recommend it. Kevin Dedman, a spiritual father, he wrote this book, but he didn't write it to be a formula. Yeah. This is actually the whole purpose of treasure hunts is to get people out, because it's not the doomsday message. It's God is in a good mood, and he loves you so much. And guess what? You're so important. Look at these clues. And it's really important that you show the people the clues on your map, because then they're like, oh my gosh, this is really real. Yeah. But we were just out loving on people at night, and we were actually ministering to the prostitutes. We were ministering to transvestites. And at first, you know, I was like, transvestites, I can't do that, God. But God broke my heart. He broke my heart, and, you know, they need love just like anybody else. And they're just like us. They just they forgot who they were. And so we were supposed to give out roses that night. Well, that night we didn't have roses, and so we decided to do prophetic art. And that's just where you get a picture, you draw it, and then when we go out and find these people, we actually give them our picture. But the whole thing is you have to actually give the picture to them. And so anyway, we were out doing these. Well, we didn't have any paper except for our treasure hunt maps. So we wrote them, we drew our pictures on the back of treasure hunt maps. And then we went out and we found this guy dressed like a woman, and we walked up to him and he was limping. And so we said, hey, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I hurt my ankle. And we're like, well, is it okay if we pray for you? We see people healed all the time. And he's like, wait a minute. Are you guys on one of those treasure hunts? And, of course, we weren't on a treasure hunt that night, a legal one. And so I said, no, actually, we're not on a treasure hunt. And he's like, oh, and you could see he was a little bummed. And I said, why? And he says, well, about 6 months ago, there were these people that came from this church up in Redding, California. I think it was named Bethel. And they were on this treasure hunt. And I had just asked God that day, God, all these people come and minister to me, but nobody even seems to know my name. So, God, if you really know me, then send somebody that knows my name. Well, his name is Ashley. And one of the guys on this team, they had on their map the name Ashley. Wow. And it broke his heart. He's like, oh my gosh, he really does love me. And the thing is this guy, his parents are, they're traveling evangelists. So he just needs to have a God encounter. He just needs to know that God's in a good mood, that God's not angry with him, that God's not disappointed with him. And so we got to love on him. And then I said, well, I have a picture for you. And I flipped it over and I said, did the map look like, or did the treasure hunt look like this? And I showed him the map. And he's like, yes, that's it. He says, oh my gosh, that thing changed my life. See, you don't even know what a treasure hunt map will do. So it's really, really, really important that people look at that you let the people look at the map so that they don't think, oh, you're just saying that because you want to talk to me. No, you show them the clues. And the whole point, like I said, about the treasure hunt, it's actually the goal is to the ultimate treasure, which is to get them saved. Yeah. Of course, we're not running out and saying, everybody, you need to get saved, saved, saved. Of course, we want them to, but you know, when they have a love encounter, then of course the next step is to ask them, hey, do you know this Jesus? Do you know this person who just healed you? And they say no, and then that's perfect opportunity where you get to lead them to Jesus, which is the ultimate treasure. And that is the ultimate treasure hunt. I'd like to share one more testimony from our mission trip. And we're like, God, we want to see people healed. And so we're not just going out. See, when you go out and your goal is just to go out and love on people, God's going to set you up. Yeah. And so here we are in the midst of playing, having fun, and God just brings people into our path for us just to talk to. Yeah. And it's just a matter of stepping out and saying, hey, can I talk to you? And of course, we were really wanting to go after people that were in wheelchairs, because it's not fun to be at Disneyland in a wheelchair. And so we thought, what better place to get healed than in Disneyland? Yeah, and so we went out and we prayed for probably the one girl that you already told them about. And she had been in a wheelchair for 2 weeks. She'd messed up her ankle. She got completely healed. She also got saved. Well, then I think we ran into you guys. We shared the testimony. So then, of course, that sparked something, because the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. So if he did it once, that means he wants to do it again. Yeah. Later on that night, we end up meeting, did you tell them about Jesus?
No, I didn't.
So Jesus was in a wheelchair as well, and his father was pushing him. So anyway, we go up to him, we ask him what's going on. He messed up his knee. He can barely walk on it. So we prayed for him, and it started to get better. So he gets up actually, I take that back. First, we talked to his father, and his father had back pain. Well, all of a sudden, his father's back pain, we prayed for him, it's completely gone. And then we said, hey, Zeus, the same thing that God did for your father, he can do for you. Would you like us to pray for you? He said, sure. So we prayed for him. He then gets out of his wheelchair. He starts walking with his cane. Well, then he picks up his cane and he just starts walking. Well, the coolest thing is, guess what? Both of them got saved that night. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just all about loving on people. And when that's your focus, you know, I can't stress it enough. If your focus is to go out and love on people, you cannot fail. You cannot fail. Doesn't matter whether you're in the grocery store, a restaurant, at your church, at school. It doesn't matter where it is. You cannot fail if love is really your heart's desire. I just encourage you just to take that step and just go out and just see how God will use you as you just take that step and go out. And I also just release joy, because you know what? You should be having fun. If you're not having fun, there's a problem, because this is supposed to be the most funnest thing, is going out and loving on people. I can't think of something better to do than see a smile on somebody's face when you're in Walmart and they've got a broken wrist, and 5 minutes later their wrist is completely healed, and they're doing this, and your jaw drops, or you see people come out of comas, which I have seen. So it's just going out and loving on them. And I'm telling you, you cannot fail. And even if you don't get it right, don't worry about it. Just keep going.
Yeah.
As long as you just don't quit. Just don't quit.
Yeah.
Like, we actually even thought that there was a time when maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. Like, the grace on my life to do this was over. And it was just so crazy how God showed up. And, you know, it's never too late. And it doesn't matter how old you are. We have seen 4-year-olds do this all the way up to 80, 90-year-olds do this. So it's not even an age thing. And everybody's called to go out and love on people. If you're like, I'm not called to be an evangelist, it doesn't matter. You're called to love on people. Yeah. You're called to go. You know, it said to God, Jesus said, go, go. And so as you go, you're just going to be so excited. And it will give you an adrenaline rush. You'll be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is so much fun. Just to go out and love on people and to see those smiles. You cannot fail. So I just release more just to not quit, more boldness to step out. I release words of knowledge like you've never had before, that you would get precise words of knowledge. Like, even we've gotten addresses, we've gotten people's, you know, just phone numbers and just crazy stuff, and just seen crazy, crazy things happen. And I just release a love. Just go and love on someone. That's the whole thing. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. If your focus is love, you're going to do amazing. And I just release even more joy. Yeah, just to have fun. And you've got incredible leaders. You cannot fail. And thank you so much for letting me come and join you in Ireland. One of these days I will be there in person. Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.